Hello and welcome back to another 10-minute investor eye test with Arcane Ventures. I'm Melo and this is my good friend and co-founder Sasha. And today we are going to be looking at Backstage. In collaboration with world-renowned artists and industry leaders, Backstage is redefining tickets, engagement, and empowering artists and fans everywhere with real-world assets and tickets for events. So I don't know much about this, but I think I've heard about this years ago and I wondered what happened to it. So apparently it's launching soon. Sasha, do you know anything about Backstage?
It sounds familiar. I remember hearing this name before, and it makes sense that they're focusing on maybe concert ticket uh, tokenization. But I think there's been a lot of companies that have done that since then. So I'm wondering what are they really doing to differentiate themselves now? I've heard of like a dozen on-chain ticket issuers or like ticket infrastructure over the past several years come to market. So it'd be interesting to see what they're doing versus
Yeah,
them.
yeah. It's like ironic that it's one of the probably the most promising use cases for blockchain and NFTs even, and it still hasn't caught on. Like you're right, there's been a lot of contenders and people trying to disrupt and take down the ticket cartel for like StubHub and Ticketmaster, whatever the names are, for sporting events, for concerts. And to do it better, to cut out scalpers and middlemen. But yeah, somehow it's never caught on, and I'm still waiting for somebody to take that role and fill that gap, but we haven't seen it yet. So maybe it's going to be Backstage, maybe not. But what we do want to find out today is what the BKS token that backstops Backstage. What is its role? Is it worth investing in? We're going to take 10 short minutes to take a look at the BKS token and whatever information we can find, and take a look at everything else as well, what they plan to do, how they've pivoted, because I think they have been around for a while, and see if it's still something worth looking into, and if they're going to be the ones to climb that mountain and be the king of the hill for the ticket space going forward.
Yeah, right. There can only be one Highlander. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. And for all of our viewers that maybe are unfamiliar with this concept, we've been doing this for a long time, but we're going to take 10 short minutes to evaluate Backstage and understand if the digital asset or the token that they're launching is something that we would consider investing in. So make sure you stick around till the end where we give our verdicts. And yeah, without any further ado, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 10 minutes on the clock for Backstage, starting right meow. Boom. And I've got crypto rank up here, and here's information on the company and the IDO apparently, which is happening in 1 or 2 days. And so, yeah, no backers as far as like VCs or angel investors, at least on crypto rank. So there's no publicly available information on this platform, but it says that Backstage is a company specializing in event financing via BKS coin and NFTs. Event financing, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually yesterday. After all these conferences that happened last week in Dubai, Token 2049, and if we were to host our own conference without having the funding to do it first, yeah, like event financing, maybe that's an interesting way to sell tickets before the event even exists, and then maybe you can refund the money if it doesn't end up taking place. But that's definitely intriguing, and maybe another possible use case we hadn't considered.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes sense. You said that this has been around for a while, or they haven't really launched. Maybe they've been building. But if you look at some of this like ecosystem here, we've got like their marketplace, the launch pad, the wallet, staking, buyback, and burn. And like some of this stuff is still relevant, but this looks like a relic of days past. Like you've got all of the usual suspects for like a shitty pitch deck, like from 2021. So I wonder, like, if we're going to see more kind of like obsolete things that are being proposed here on the website or the docs or anything.
Yeah, I'm hearing like the Jurassic Park theme song in my head right now. Like this, I feel like we're looking at like living fossils, and we can see how they lived back in their day.
I guess let's go ahead and hold on. Let's check out some information on the token first. So apparently, they had a private round that they raised $3,000 in,
In
and
2022.
okay. These are, I'm assuming these are launch pads where they were able to raise private allocations for launchpad participants. I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but this is not a good look. If they raised only 7K on Koi Starter, I don't even know what Koi Starter is. And then 3K from Infinite Launch, haven't heard that name before. So these are obviously launch pads that are dead and gone, right?
I mean, there it says private, so it is private sale, I guess. But yeah, that's a little bit weird, and I don't know. Can you imagine? I mean, I can't imagine because we've invested in a lot of things that didn't ever launch or took forever to launch. But can you imagine investing in October 2022 and thinking like this launch is right around the corner, and 3 years later, here we are.
Yeah, and check it out. The FDV is 12 million. If I if I'm not mistaken, back in October 2022, that was
Low.
the time when we were seeing a lot of really high FDVs. That was almost, I believe, the peak of that hype cycle. So I'm assuming that they significantly dropped the FDV here for today's market.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the tail end of that summer was also like when everybody just started to slash the initial market caps to make it look like a better deal. But we learned since then that's not a good idea.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. This is interesting. It's like stepping into a time capsule. But let's just check out the website, see what they got.
Yep.
Excuse me. So, Backstage Entertainment 3.0, the future of events powered by blockchain. And again, like I said before, we've seen many projects like this. And so, leveraging blockchain technology to create the only full cycle real world asset EventFi platform. So, no, it's not the only platform. And
Not
then
even close.
EventFi, what the hell's EventFi? You're just going to make up a word now?
I mean, I think it's the event financing, but yeah, I don't know,
But still.
like staking or crowdfunding for events to throw it like by consensus. Maybe like communities can hold events instead of like having a centralized event process.
This happened for Coachella this past year, right? And so nobody called it EventFi then. And then I think that followed the news from DoorDash, who are going to allow like credit, sort of like credit based like financing for meals. They don't call that food fi. So why are we just making up buzzwords for the hell of it?
They're probably going to start calling it food fight now that you said that.
Oh God, I just coined food fi.
By the way, is there anything more dystopian than financing your Chipotle burrito? Like that's so
No, it's
depressing on
not.
so many different levels.
Yeah, it really is. It's it's all downhill from here. We're done.
We're not going to make it.
We're so cooked. Oh my
And
god.
how could you even afford to go to a concert, a rave, if you can't afford your DoorDash?
I
Oh
don't
man.
know. Well, I wonder how many people are in DoorDash debt already. But anyways, back to Backstage. Oh my god. Multi-chain platform. I would hope so. Integrated
Multi-chain
point of sale and revenue
multi-chain is
streams.
also another relic, right? Like everybody was flexing that.
Yeah.
Like we're on BSC chain and on Ethereum back
Yeah,
in
it's like if you're
2022.
not if you're not like EVM compatible, if you're launching on some EVM network and you're not like EVM compatible because bridges exist, it's just like, hey, I have a route to your house because someone built a road between us. Then you can't really, you can't be not multi-chain. Okay.
AI driven insights. Yeah. I think like this could be useful for for people that are hosting events to figure out better ways to do it and what their pain points are. So like if they have some sort of analytical dashboard on the back end, like I think like even Luma has that, right? Like Luma is a pretty solid tool for hosting events and organizing it and making sure that not too many people go and then getting that email list and then seeing the conversion rate and how many people or what the guest list was. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're doing massive scale events and you're using this technology, then it could be pretty useful to see exactly what your demographic is and what type of people are going to your event.
I completely agree. RWAs, smart tickets, secure, traceable, and resellable NFT backed tickets. Yeah, again, this, like I said, it's a relic of an older time. Like, that's like saying we sell water and you should like water because it's wet. Like, it's just, this is built into NFTs. Everyone knows that now. This is not something you can advertise. Like, I'm selling a car powered by combustion technology.
Which again is like an amazing use case for crypto. It's probably one of the best I can think of off the top of my head. Like, what better industry to disrupt and change with blockchain? It like immutable blockchain, great for tickets and NFTs, great to signify tickets and make sure that peer-to-peer transactions are, safe and trackable.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it before, like why isn't this caught on? And usually when you have like such an impactful technology that's going to solve so many problems, but it hasn't caught on, my pessimistic brain goes to like there's someone that's a decision maker somewhere in the middle that's making money. And
Yeah.
so like that's probably a big reason why it hasn't caught on. But check this out, man. We've got some big names. So I wonder if Backstage has really like, they've offered the ticketing infrastructure for some of these artists' concerts. Ricky Martin, Enrique Iglesias. These are no small timers. David Guetta. Wow. Tiesto. Harry Potter Symphony Orchestra. That's what I'm talking about. And Gypsy
Fire of
Kings. I don't know if you're
Anatolia.
familiar
I,
with.
I keep seeing Fire of Anatolia ads on YouTube every day because I'm in Turkey right now.
You should go check it out. Maybe Backstage can hook you up with a ticket.
Gypsy Kings is great too. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, one thing we look for with any of these competitors, they all seem to have their like stacked team of celebrity backers that you got to, if you're gonna make a ticketing platform, you have to get some teams like sports teams, like football teams, ideally because that's the most global sport, or some international artist on board to like kind of rep you and evangelize for you.
Yeah. You've got to show traction. You've got to demonstrate traction, and that's incredibly important if you want to bring in that next artist or the next customer or whatever. But what I'm dying to figure out still is why the hell do they need a token? And what does the token do? So, this is essentially just blockchain infrastructure. They're a software company. They're not really going to need a token. I do see some crazy, this is again a relic from days long gone, is just list as many logos as you possibly can, right?
Yeah, there's Fire of Anatolia. I saw RWA Inc., so that's a pretty recent one. But there's a lot of these I haven't heard of, or I haven't heard from them in years.
Yeah,
Uh,
some of them are just dead and
yeah, like
gone.
Bluezilla. I don't know what happened with Bluezilla.
I hope they're dead and gone. BSC pad, Fractal, they're still around, right? But yeah, no one talks about Fractal being a partner
I think so.
anymore.
Yeah,
It's just
for KYC.
yeah. All right. Well, that's 10 minutes. We still haven't found out anything about the token. Should we try and cheat a little bit and see what, if we could find something?
Yeah, we got to cheat a little bit. Like that's the whole point of the video, is to figure out if the BKS token, especially, is representative of a good opportunity for investors. Because let's be real, most people are in this for the investment opportunity. You and I actually love seeing things that are useful, like products that people might actually use that can make blockchain become a more well received technology. But yeah, I think my question is always, does this need a token? And I can think of some creative ways to implement and integrate a token into this. Obviously, NFTs play a big role in this as well, but does it need a token? And if so, whoever designed the BKS token ecosystem, what does it do? Why does it need to exist? Is it like a useful thing? Maybe there's some discounts, or I saw staking, I think, somewhere else, but I don't know, staking for what, or is it just staking for APY?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything good besides a lot of information on token buybacks, which is not great.
Yeah.
That's kind of admitting defeat. Like this doesn't need to exist, and the only reason it's here is because we want to raise money, and we're going to buy back some tokens for you.
uh
So
Burning, I see burning, and now I'm sad.
yeah, and this is a thing. Like people don't talk about burning anymore, and I think we've been a pioneer of trying to push this narrative of like burning is a very bad utility to bring in. If anyone's interested, you can check out our token utilities article on burning. But decentralized token-based hybrid model. So revenue sharing, governance rights, and VIP experiences for BKS token holders. That is classifying this immediately as a security because you have revenue sharing going to fungible token holders. You've got royalties. Yeah, so you're using the token maybe for payments. You're using, there's a lot of revenue that's going to buybacks, and then there's revenue sharing. Like this is something that many of these things you don't hear anymore, and for
Yeah.
good reason.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily security, but it's security like language, and uh, I don't know. I always saw this problem. Like, you need to either go full decentralized and not have a team, like it's run by the community, I think, or you have to be a centralized company that doesn't share revenue. Maybe you can do some structured buybacks with revenue, and then artificially pump that price a little bit, and then delay the vesting of the token. But otherwise, you can't just do revenue sharing. Governance doesn't mean a whole lot if it's not a decentralized protocol. Like, what am I really voting on here? That's always my question as well. Like, what does governance actually mean in this instance? The
Yeah.
the special rewards for token holders might be interesting, but then again, like, do you need to fundraise against this asset, or can it be like a loyalty point that you introduce later down the road?
Yeah, I mean, all good points. Well, let's dive into our verdicts because I'm sure we can break this down a little bit more. But before we do, I want to remind all of our viewers, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and stick around. We've got some more fun content coming out, in fact, this week. And yeah, if there's a project that you're interested in us diving into, make sure you drop a comment below, or comment if you disagree with us. Comment if you think we have bad haircuts or anything. We welcome all comments. So yeah, if you're good with it, I'll go ahead and start my verdict.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so I think I'll start with one thumb down. I'm not interested in investing in this asset. And there's a few reasons why. Number one, I think I realized that this asset, the concept for it, was originally created during a time where anyone was like easily raising several $1,000,000 for just mentioning the word token. And so I think the use cases behind it are loose and slapped on as a sort of like, playing damage control. I've seen a lot of language that makes me feel like this entire model is obsolete. And I don't think that the team is wholly dedicated to trying to bring value back to the token, especially considering they probably raised funds against this token supply during a time when no one ever offered equity anywhere. So the team holds all the equity, and as a result, they probably own all of the IP and all of the rights to revenue going to that IP. And I don't really foresee them taking, revenue and then implementing some sort of compliant or legal buyback, especially with all of the very gray area language they used in their website documentation. And I don't really see a good use for this token. What I would like to see is just more traction for this infrastructure. Show me like who's using it right now, who's going to continue to use it. Maybe show some like revenue figures. We're starting to see that's more commonplace in this industry, especially after like Aether started, releasing revenue figures around the use of their decentralized platform. So like this is important here. So I want to know how your business is doing. I don't want to know about some speculative token launch that the only success I'm going to see in it is if you decide on a Tuesday you're going to put more money into it or not. So that's for that reason I'm out.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think I echo a lot of that sentiment. I'll probably give it like something in between a thumb down and a thumb sideways. But I love the idea,
Diagonal.
obviously. Yeah, I mean, the idea makes a lot of sense to me, and somebody will eventually use this. But you and I have covered this in other videos before. More than likely, one of these companies we don't like, these middleman companies like StubHub or Ticketmaster, maybe they'll just implement blockchain on their own or partner with somebody to do it themselves. I don't know if they would ever do that. It might like kill some of their business, but it might actually improve their business and they might be receptive to it. So I think they're more likely to achieve this than some Web3 native company that's taken years to launch, that has its own token too. Because let's be real, like if StubHub does this next month and they don't have a native token, then it'll automatically be easier to onboard people. They already have that audience, they already have backing, they already have that notoriety. So I think it's a hard sell. I love the idea, but I don't like what they have as far as the token information being communicated. And I guess I'd give them the benefit of the doubt, but if there's one piece of advice I would give this team, it's to refresh these documents. Let us know that this is a new project. It's not something stuck in time, that you've carefully thought about the state of the token space and how to launch a token, and you've tweaked some things and you've adjusted. And like, I don't know anything about the team or the backers. I don't know anything about, like, have they come up with any new utilities since 2022 when everybody had an NFT marketplace? Because I saw one of the things was profit share from NFT marketplace. And, this is also another thing holding you back. Like, I want to be able to trade, if this is truly portable, I want to be able to trade this ticket anywhere, not just on your platform. I want to have other options to, like, peer-to-peer transfer it to a friend or somebody that wants to go to the concert or the sporting event. So there's a lot of, like, obviously the idea is cool. I don't know if they'll be the ones to pull it off. I don't know enough about the token, so I would pass on it. But I'm still curious to see if they pull it off, or if not them, who.
Yeah, it's such a good point. It's interesting why they've chosen to launch now. I mean, if they raised money back in 2022, they continue to build out the platform, etc. There have been a couple of peaks where token launches did quite well since 2022.
Yeah.
So why are they choosing now? It would be interesting to have that discussion with the team and figure out, like, what the strategy is. But
Seems like they want to capitalize on the RWA narrative too. I see this commonly. Like, everybody's saying, yeah, we're a real world asset. I guess technically anything can be an RWA by a very loose definition. So if you want to get that investor money and maybe they wanted to raise some more or become more relevant again, okay, we're doing RWAs. What's more real world than actual in-person events? Okay, technically that's true, but is this a new concept that you need to bring into the future? I don't know.
No one called them RWAs back when NFTs
Yeah,
were being applied to ticketing in
just
2022.
tickets. Yeah. Actually, you can argue that they're not real world assets. Tickets, like the purely digital ones, are not real anything. They're digital. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Yep, and thanks everybody for watching. That's 10 minutes on Backstage. And again, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. We've got more fun content coming down the road. Best of luck to the Backstage team, and we hope that you guys make a dent in the ticketing market, because a massive overhaul is very much needed.
Yep.
And best of luck with your launch. And all of our listeners out there, make sure you do your own due diligence. Stay safe. And until then, ciao, y'all.